Welcome to the Disgruntled PM Podcast, your weekly therapy session for the chaotic world of project management, transforming daily frustrations into real action. Welcome, everybody. I'm Trevor, the Disgruntled PM, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I wanted to record a solo show, and I spent a good chunk of today shoveling the first snow of the season here in Kentucky. I also decided to put on my most appropriate hat and sweater, and if you want to see them, you need to watch the video on either YouTube or Spotify. And I promise you, you want to see these because they are something special, very seasonal. So, with the spirit of Christmas, I've been doing some thinking. We as PMs always are hit with impossible deadlines, vague scope definitions, and insufficient resources. But there's one guy, one absolute legend, the GOAT, if you will, the greatest of all time, the man who pulls off the single greatest logistical feat in human history every single year. He does it on time, on budget, or at least I assume it's on budget since nobody's ever seen the P&L statement of the North Pole, and with zero defects. I'm talking about Santa Claus. Have you ever struggled to explain what it is that we do as PMs? Well, this episode is my gift to you to share with others and explain how Santa is the ultimate project manager. Let's start by deconstructing the operation at the North Pole. Because if you strip away the magic dust and the reindeer games, you're left with the single greatest example of extreme project management on Earth. We're going to look at how Santa uses fundamental project management concepts, things like scope definition, resource management, and critical path analysis to get the job done. And for those of you listening who are not project managers, don't worry, I got you. I'll explain the terms as we go without overcomplicating things. So grab your lukewarm coffee or your energy drink, close your Jira tickets for a bit, and let's talk about the big man in the red suit. Every project starts with initiation. This is the figuring out phase. What are we doing and why are we doing it? For us mere mortals, this involves endless meetings where people argue about what done actually looks like. For Santa, the mission statement is clear. Deliver the appropriate gifts to every deserving child on the planet in a 24-hour window every December 25th. Now, the biggest trap in project management is scope creep. Scope creep is where the project starts simple, like build a treehouse, and halfway through the customer says, hey, can we add Wi-Fi, plumbing, and a helipad? Suddenly, your deadline is blown and you're over budget. Santa deals with the wildest scope creep imaginable. Think about his primary requirement gathering tool. Letters to Santa. Little Timmy writes a letter in July asking for a bike. Fine, that's in scope. Santa puts it in the plan. Then, on December 20th, Timmy sees a commercial for a live Pikachu Pokemon toy. No reason why I know that specifically is what a kid would want for Christmas. None whatsoever. My kid definitely doesn't want one of those. Suddenly, he doesn't want the bike. He wants the Pokemon. That is late-stage scope creep. How does Santa handle it? He has the ultimate change control process. He has elves monitoring real-time data streams to update requirements right up until the point when the sleigh takes off on the go-live day. But his most brilliant project management tool is the naughty or nice list. In PM terms, this is stakeholder analysis combined with strict acceptance criteria. A stakeholder is anyone who can impact your project or who is impacted by the project. Santa has two main stakeholder groups: the customers, who are the kids, and the gatekeepers, who are the parents. The naughty or nice list is his filtering mechanism. If you don't meet the acceptance criteria, say you pulled your sister's hair, then you are removed from the project scope. You get coal. Coal is for those on the naughty list. It's easy to ship, doesn't break, and is exceedingly cost effective. Santa doesn't try to please everybody. He defines the criteria for success, and if you don't meet it, you're out of the backlog. I wish I could do that with some of my development teams. Sorry, Bob, you're on the naughty list. You get nothing. So now he knows what his team has to build. Let's talk about how his team builds it. Let's look at the North Pole Workshop. In the PM world, we fight constantly about methodology. Are we using waterfall or agile? Waterfall is old school. It's the assembly line. You plan everything perfectly up front, then you build it step by step. Agile is newer, and it's about building things in small chunks, getting feedback, and pivoting quickly. I argue that Santa runs a hybrid workshop. The overall structure has to be waterfall. December 25th is the hardest of hard deadlines in the universe. You cannot delay launch by 2 weeks because the PlayStation 5 elves are burnt out. The date is fixed. But the workshop floor? That has to be agile. Think about the trends in toys. 1 year, all the kids are into Power Rangers, then blink your eyes and they're all about Pokemon. What's coming next? I got no clue. Maybe VR headsets for toddlers. The elves need to retool their entire production line every 12 months, or even sooner than that, depending on trends. They are likely running 2-week sprints, prototyping new toys, testing them for safety, and scaling up for production instantly. This brings us to the biggest headache for any PM: resource management. Santa's resources are elves. Now, we don't know much about the elf labor laws, but I would assume they have great union benefits because they've been working for the same guy for 600 years. But consider the capacity planning. Santa has to balance the workload across the entire year. He can't have the elves sitting around playing cards January through October, then working 20-hour days November and December. That's how you get burnt out team members and shoddy quality. Nobody wants a rocking horse with 3 legs or a TV that doesn't turn on. He has to level the load of production all year long, forecasting demand based off birth rates and cultural trends. He's probably using some serious predictive analytics, and I'm sure AI has been a big boost for his productivity. He's never just guessing at what kids want. Speaking of resource management, unlike Santa, I don't have a workshop full of magical elves working for free, and my mortgage unfortunately does not accept payment in Christmas cheer. So let's pause here from a word for our sponsor who helps keep this show on the air.
Projects slipping? Teams misaligned? Using the wrong tools? Introducing Spec-C from Constructive Curiosity, the project execution software built by project managers. Spec-C keeps your team aligned, your priorities clear, and progress moving. And right now, join the Spec-C beta launch crew to get early access and help shape the future of project management. Sign up today at constructivecuriosity.com. Current PM software not coming through? It's time to see what Spec-C can do for you.
I also want to remind everyone that if you're enjoying the show and want to help me upgrade from instant coffee to the real stuff, head over to Patreon and subscribe to my Drinking the Kool-Aid tier, where for $5 a month, you get access to the post-mortem interviews. This is where I do a bonus episode with every guest, and we go deeper into their area of expertise, and they share tips, tricks, and this is where they share their tips, tricks, and ways that you can level up your game that you can't find anywhere else, straight from the resources that have mastered those skills. All right, we got the bills paid. Let's get back to the North Pole. The toys are built, they're wrapped, and now it's December 24th. Project plan enters the execution phase. This is where the rubber hits the road, or rather the hoof hits the roof. This is pure logistics, makes Amazon Prime look like a couple of guys with a van, and not the creepy kind. Let's talk about the most stressful concept in project management, the critical path. The critical path is your list of tasks that have to be completed in the sequence that they're laid out. This is the sequence of tasks in your project that has zero wiggle room. If any task on your critical path is delayed by 1 minute, the entire project is delayed by 1 minute. For Santa, on Christmas Eve, everything is on the critical path. He has roughly 8 hours of darkness, extended by traveling west with the rotation of the Earth, giving him maybe 32 hours total to hit every house in the world. He can't stop for extra milk and cookies, he cannot get stuck in a chimney for 45 minutes, and he doesn't have time for unscheduled reindeer bathroom breaks. Every stop is timed to the second. His sleigh packing strategy has to be legendary. It's last in, first out inventory management on a global scale. He has to pack the sleigh so that the gifts for Japan are at the top and the gifts for Hawaii are at the bottom. If he mixes up a bag and little Sven in Sweden gets a surfboard meant for Brody in California, the project fails quality control. The stress on Santa during that 32-hour sprint must be immense. He is the ultimate project sponsor and lead field technician rolled into one. But he's also in the trenches, and I respect that. A lot of executives I've seen will send out an email at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon asking for status updates, not even checking their email until Monday. Santa's out there getting busy, doing the work, and making sure everybody doesn't know he's there, but they do. But no project goes according to plan. If you tell me your project has no risks, I'll tell you you're delusional. The mark of a great PM isn't avoiding risk, it's how fast you solve the risk when it inevitably explodes in your face. This is risk management. Santa operates in a high-risk environment. He has unpredictable weather risks like blizzards and polar vortexes. He has technical risks like sleigh breakdowns or reindeer fatigue. He has operational risks like dogs barking or security cameras trying to catch a glimpse of the big guy. The most famous example of Santa's risk management is the infamous story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Think about it. For years, Rudolph was viewed as a defective resource. His nose glowed. The other reindeer, the team members, bullied him and called him names. It was a toxic work culture in the stables, but Santa's the visionary PM that we all know he is. He looked at that glowing red nose and didn't see a defect. He saw a risk contingency plan. Contingency plan is the plan B you keep in your back pocket. You hope you never need to use it. But if the risk trigger event occurs, you have to execute that plan. The risk trigger event occurred on one foggy Christmas Eve. The project was about to fail. Visibility was zero. The critical path became completely blocked. Did Santa panic? Nope. Did he schedule a Zoom call with the stakeholders to assign blame or scratch the go live event of delivering toys to all the kids? Nope. He executed his contingency plan. Rudolph with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? He took a marginalized resource, moved him up to the front of the critical path, and saved the entire operation. This is brilliant adaptive management. It turned a single point of failure into a strategic advantage. Next time your project hits a snag, ask yourself, who is my Rudolph? What weird resource do I have that can solve this specific mess? So, what have we learned today? We've learned that Santa Claus isn't just a jolly old elf. He's a ruthless prioritizer, a master of hybrid, agile, and waterfall methodologies, one thing I like to call Wagile, a logistical genius managing the ultimate critical path, and a brilliant risk manager. He deals with demanding stakeholders, impossible deadlines, and volatile market trends, and he delivers flawless quality every single time. Santa is the ultimate PM, and most likely a little bit disgruntled like the rest of us, but secretly, of course. You think he's jolly? Look at his eyes the next time you see him at the mall. That twinkle? That's manic exhaustion masked by centuries of caffeine and sugar cookies. We all should aspire to be a little bit more like Santa in our daily work. Define your scope clearly. Don't be afraid to put people on the naughty list if they ask for too much. Plan your resources so you aren't burning out your elves in December. Know your critical path and defend it with your life. And always, always know where your Rudolph is when the fog rolls in. Hang in there. It's almost Christmas break, and if you've got kids, I got nothing for you other than plan a lot of stuff ahead of time and tire them out during the day so that they go to sleep at night. If Santa can survive his Q4 crunch, we can survive ours. If you enjoyed this show, please like, subscribe, and follow on all the platforms. And most importantly, tell some friends, because that's how this show grows. That's how I'm able to get more sponsors, more visibility. If you didn't enjoy it and made it this far, check out some of the amazing guests I've had in the back catalog. And please, I want to thank my sponsors. I want to thank all of my Patreon subscribers, and I want to thank all the listeners, because without you, this is not possible. So I'll end as I always do. May all your deliverables be on time, your budget's in the black, and your scope not creeping. I'm still Trevor, and I'm still the disgruntled PM. Thanks for listening.